So making a character sheet is something that is not really too hard to handle. After you get the hang of it, it just gets sort of getting up there and figuring out the stats and knowing sort of the game mechanics. That getting it going. Once you get going, it's pretty simple. So making a character sheet, you can have very fancy fonts and very thematic character sheets. You can have broken down yet organized character sheets, or you could have a character sheet that is literally spans different pages. That is in depth and super thorough, which is always something you can do. It's just sort of up to you how you want to put in your character sheet, how detailed you want it to be, and what you want it to look like. And so, but either way, it all breaks down to basically these stats here. And these little boring stats and proficiencies are what we're going to figure out how to do. Okay, so the basic start of every character is their abilities. How strong are they? How able are they to be able to take poisoning? How fast can they move? How good are they at convincing people to do what they want them to do? So these are called your stats, and so those are going to be your 6 stats listed here. But I'll just write them down for you. So you're going to want to have strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. So those are your 6 stats. Now, to determine these, what we're going to do is we're going to do the method. There's always different ways of doing it, but the most agreed upon method is having 4d6 and rolling them. So they can either be fancy d6 or just something you find in a board game. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll them, and you're just going to toss out the lowest number. So 4, 3, 3, and 6. So we're going to toss out one of the 3s. So 4, and then you just add them together. So 4 and 6 is 10, plus 3, 13. So you're just going to write down on the side somewhere 13. And you're going to repeat this 6 times until you have enough numbers, until you have 6 totals. Alright, so now that you've come up with your 6 scores, you're going to coordinate these 6 scores with what you want to be strongest in and what you want to be weakest in. So Stephanie's character is going to be a druid. Druids are going to be deriving all their magical powers from wisdom. So you want to choose the highest number here to put for wisdom, which is 18, which is actually a very high number. So she's almost going to be maxed out on it. So we're going to write 18 here, and then after that, I always try to do the second highest constitution, because constitution determines how much HP you get at every level. So next we'll do 16 for that one. So 16 constitution. Then divvy the rest up as you see fit. I think I'm going to go probably dexterity next, so she can be fast, and then the rest I'll probably put then strength, then charisma, then intelligence last. Alright, so after doing that, you have your base stats. Now this is what you're going to go off of for certain things, but really they're not going to be used for much. Now, what they translate to is becoming your stat modifiers, and that's what you need to focus on. Although we're not ready to get to that yet because we still have some things that might affect these. So next you want to be choosing a race for your character. For Stephanie's, I chose the Vidalcan race because it's an unofficial race from D&D Beyond. It's not recognized by Wizards of the Coast, but they're basically humanoids with blue skin. So I feel like that would give her some room to play as she wants without locking her down to, say, being a walking turtle. And so the main stats you want to worry about from your race is you want to get your speed, and it will list what your speed is. That's important to know just so you can know how far you can move during your turn. Also, it might give you boosts to your stats. So this one actually gave her +1 to her wisdom and +2 to intelligence. That's very good because her wisdom is going to be 19, and the highest it can be is 20. So that's actually super strong, especially when this is going to be a 5th level character instead of a 20th level. So that is going to be really good. It also lists different stats or sort of abilities that you have. So, for example, she has advantage on intelligence, wisdom, charisma saving throws, and she's proficient in arcana. So those are just stats that you will need to know that will help you out on the road as well. So next we're going to move on to figuring out your class, which also might give you bonuses to certain things here. So we're going to figure out your class, and that's going to give you mainly all of your abilities and your weapons and that kind of thing. Alright, so at this point, if I go too fast, you can always go back to this website and figure it out. So you're just going to want to type in Druid or whatever your class is, and then 5e, and then you want to go to Roll20. Either Roll20 or 5e SRD, they're both going to give you really good information of what you need. So first what we're going to worry about is her hit die, which is a 1d8. So her hit points are going to be 8 plus your constitution modifier. So, especially at her first level. So it's going to be 8 plus her Constitution modifier, which we haven't determined yet. So basically, I guess now is the time to determine the modifiers for these stats that I was telling you about earlier. So, the easiest way to do this is you take your number, subtract it from 10, take the answer to that. So you take your number, subtract it from 10, 12 minus 10 is going to equal 2, and then you take that number and you divide it by half. So divide that by 2, and it's going to be 1. So your modifier will be plus 1 for 12. If you want a cheat sheet, it's just going to be 10 and 11 are going to be plus 0, 18 is going to be plus 4, 16 is going to be plus 3, 15 is going to be plus 2, and 13 is going to be plus 2 as well. Wait, nope, wrong. Plus 1. See, even when a seasoned dungeon master can make stupid mistakes. So don't kick yourself if it doesn't make a lot of sense. So just sort of follow this method that I was doing a second ago, and that'll pretty much figure it out. Then you just want to put these in parentheses so you don't get them confused. So basically, whenever you're asked to make a check with these numbers, so when somebody says, oh, make a Constitution saving throw, or make a Strength saving throw, you're going to roll a d20 and you're going to add plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, whatever determining on what the skill is. But because we have these plus 1 and plus 2, we're actually going to adjust these numbers. So this is why I chose to do it after these, is because I wanted to show you these actually affect your base numbers, not your modifiers. So for plus 1 to that is going to make this Wisdom a 19, and so that 19 is going to be there, which is still only a plus 4, so that doesn't change much. But this one is plus 2, so that's going to be a 13, which actually bumps this up to a plus 1. So, there we go. So now, with that hit die that we were talking, that was 8 plus your Constitution modifier. So for first level, her Constitution modifier is plus 3. 8 plus 3, at first level she's going to have 11 hit points. Now, these characters are going to be 5th level when we start playing, so we need to check something called ability score improvements. So you want to scroll down to this chart that is going to be right here, and you're looking for something that says ability score improvement. So right there. So 4th level she gets 1, but that's only 1. Okay. So when you hit that improvement, you are going to either you're going to adjust these numbers to make them better. So you can either add 1 to 2 of them separately, or you can add 2 to 1 of them. So I'm going to add 1 to Wisdom to max that out, which is going to be ludicrous at 5th level to have maxed out Wisdom, but that'll be pretty cool. And then also, I think we're going to bump up everything. Adjusting this would not get it to a plus 4, but adjusting Dexterity would get it to a plus 3, so let's do that. So let's make that a 16, which will change this to a plus 3, and we'll change this to a maxed out plus 5, which is crazy. And we can get rid of these because we already incorporated them. This will all be cleaned up for the final sheet, but I'm just showing you the process. So, the reason we have to look at the ability score improvement is we know when her HP is going to get better. So first level, it's 11. Second level and third level are both going to be still the 8 plus 3. Technically, the way it's supposed to happen is you roll a d8 and you add plus 3, but I like my characters to be able to take some hits, so I just let them take max. So I'll just assume that you rolled an 8. Don't tell anybody. So just assume you rolled an 8 plus 3. So, and because that did not change, it'll be the same for when you hit 4th and 5th level. So it's going to be 11 for each level, making it so 11 first, 11 for second, 11 for third. You're not dumb, you can do math. 11 times 5 is going to be 55 HP. So there's normally 2 numbers you have at the top of your sheet. So it's HP, and the next one is going to be your AC. So AC is called armor class. It's basically how well can you avoid getting hit in a fight, or how many hits can you take. So basically what you want to do is you want to, if you are a monk or if you are a barbarian, you're going to worry about it's either monk, barbarian, or rogues, I think. Or basically, if you're not wearing armor, you're going to have to do some more. You're going to have to basically do 10 plus your dexterity. And then if you're a barbarian, it's 10 plus dexterity plus constitution. Or if you're a monk, it's 10 plus dexterity plus wisdom. Fortunately, this isn't. Sorry, my brain. Fortunately, Steph is not either of these, so she's just going to find some armor that she is proficient in, and you're just going to take a flat number from the armor and add it here. However, if I know Keyshawn's going to be playing a monk, if you do Dex plus Wiz, make sure you're using the modifiers, not the big numbers, because that would be an insane amount of AC. Alright, so let's find out what armor she's proficient in. So I will be sending a link to the list of armor and their all stats, and I'll send that to the group chat. But right now you just need to look at under starting proficiencies. So she is proficient in light armor, medium armor, and shields. And druids, because of their druidic nature, will not wear any shields or armor made of metal. So it has to be wooden shield and medium armor. So then I'm going to open up that page and we'll look at the flat rates. So here's the list of armor. So we have our shields here. We have our armor. So she is proficient in both light and medium. So that means having medium would normally slow you down, but because she's proficient, it won't bother her. So what we're going to do is we're going to decide what kind of armor we should get for her. So there's hide, chain shirt, scale mail, breastplate, and half plate. So breastplate, half plate, and the chain shirt are all going to be metal. And so we're going to do our best to avoid those because druids cannot wear armor made of metal. Scale mail, I'm going to, at least for the purposes of this, I'm going to say that it is made of literal scales. So why don't we take a look at this and see the armor bonus you get from this. So the base AC of scale mail is 14. So we're going to back out of that and check the base AC of hide, which I assume is going to be lower. The base AC of hide is only 12. So yeah, we'll go with scale mail. That's going to be so the thing with medium armor is it's going to be, you're going to take the number that is on here and you are going to add your dexterity modifier to a maximum of +2 for your AC. So the base for scale mail is 14 plus her dexterity modifier, which is +3, so the max is +2. So her AC is going to be 16. And this is not something that goes that levels up with you as you level up. This is pretty much going to stay the same unless you can find some other armor to help boost it. But her AC is going to be 16. So the next things you need to know from proficiencies is your weapons and your skills. Those are the most important ones. So that means she can use any of these weapons. She's good enough to know how to use them. And the skills, she's also proficient in those. So weapons, I'm going to let her pick whatever she likes from this category. But I will also be, for the purpose of this demonstration, we'll say she chooses daggers. That's simple enough. So we'll say she has 2 daggers. And we'll get to that in just a second. But also we need to, so skills are very important. So there are a list of quite a few skills that I will go over in a little bit. But when you have your list of proficiencies, you need to choose from them which ones that you want to have, that you want to be good in, basically. So there's Arcana, which is sort of knowing about magic and the sort of the nature of magic. Then Animal Handling, which pretty self-explanatory. Insight, sort of seeing what people are thinking, what their motive is. Medicine, not necessarily healing, but stabilizing the wounded. Nature, thinking, just sort of knowing about plants, recognizing footprints, that kind of thing. Perception, that one is very important. So perception is something that is basically whenever you walk into a room, if you notice, secret trapdoors, or if you see somebody trying to sneak out the back, or you notice an arrow flying at you from behind your head. Religion is going to be very helpful if you're dealing with paladins, if you're dealing with clerics, gods, like that kind of stuff, very important. And then survival is, Bear Grylls, like important stuff like that. So for Steph's character, we already have Arcana from her race, and then I'm also going to choose Animal Handling because that's important for a druid, and I'm also going to go with Perception because I always give that to anybody who can take it. So we're going to also go with proficiencies. So proficient in Arcana, we'll just add there Perception, and we will add a Animal Handling. So I will send a full list of weapons in the group chat, but what we need right now to worry about is you find your weapon that you want to use, you're going to write down the damage, which is 1d4, and then what you want to find is basically the range, 20 or 60, that's important, and the properties. The only real one you need to worry about properties is if it says finesse, that's more important. So, if you're a dexterous character. So basically, Steph has +1 in strength and +3 in dexterity, so she definitely want to use a weapon that uses dexterity. So because it is a weapon that has the finesse quality, that means she gets to use her dexterity bonus for attacks. So whenever you attack in this game, you're going to roll 1d20. That's the classic dice of Dungeons & Dragons. Now, what you add to that is determines sort of how well either you miss or hit. So you're going to hit +3 for dexterity, because that is her finesse weapon, so it's going to use her dexterity modifier, plus her proficiencies because she's proficient in it. And her proficiency bonus at 5th level is... At 5th level, proficiency bonus is +3. So you're going to add 1d20 +3 +3, and we'll just simplify that down to 1d20, god that looks terrible, +6. And then for her damage, we're just going to say 1d4. Okay, and then so when she attacks, she's going to roll this, add 6 to it. If it beats their AC, then she is going to hit, and then she rolls damage to see how much damage she does. So, sounds good. Moving on. So the next thing that which is the only thing you're really going to need to know if you are not a spellcaster, this will be sort of the end of where you pay attention to the video, is these things called skills. And so each skill is something that you can be used. So it's acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, athletics, deception, history, insight. They're all in alphabetical order here, but you could also order them by what stat they use, whatever. And so you're going to copy these down to your sheet, or you can print it out from online and then just write the number in here. But next to this, you're going to write what your bonus is for all of these. So for any one that you're not proficient in, which is going to be most of them, you're just going to add what your regular stat bonus is for whichever stat isn't listed next to it. So acrobatics uses your dexterity modifier. So Steph's is +3, so she has +3 to acrobatics. Now the ones that, and so on and so forth. But the ones that you are proficient in, you're going to add something to that. So let's see again what she's proficient in. So arcana, perception, and animal handling. So let's look at whichever one is listed first. Let's go with animal handling. So animal handling, she is proficient in. So it's not only going to use her wisdom modifier, which is +5, but it's also going to use her proficiency modifier, which is going to be a +3. So to arcana, animal handling, she's going to have +8. Arcana is going to be intelligence is +1 +3. It's going to be 4. Arcana is going to be +4, and so on and so forth. So just remember to add your proficiency bonus to the ones that you are proficient in.